the Fan3Cast, dishing out the hottest NASCAR news and views while celebrating the three's historic comeback. Here are your hosts, Michael Metzger and Jason Schultz.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are recording the Fan3Cast live and on location at Watkins Glen International.
There's some cars on the track already, but before we get to this weekend's race, we got to talk about the Go Bowling 400 from Pocono.
That race was, of course, won by Dale Earnhardt Jr., who picked up his third win of the year and swept Pocono for the first time that he's done that since Talladega in 2004, I believe.
That's definitely really impressive, and he's showing he can be a true championship contender if he keeps up this pace and maybe gets another win before the season ends.
That also marked Hendrick Motorsports' I believe, 7th straight win at Pocono. Correct me if I'm wrong, 5th or 7th?
I think it's around there. Probably, I think since August of 2012, so whatever that turns out to be.
Now, Hendrick Motorsports definitely has things going. Not only do they have Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the winner's circle, Jeff Gordon is leading the points again, Casey Kane is showing some life, but on the flip side, they have Jimmy Johnson, who yet again finished in the low 40s. I guess that's as far down as you can finish, but he is struggling mightily. What can we make of this?
You don't have to worry one bit. He's going to come back in September and be the best driver out there. He's probably going to be one of the top contenders. It's just this August slump he has doesn't really affect him. It's just a little downtime for him, but he'll get there, back to his top form soon.
I feel like he did something similar last year, but it was a little further into August. He kind of was backsliding, because I remember 1 year ago at Watkins Glen, he did not finish all that well, and people were questioning what he could do. Well, what could he do? Win a 6th championship.
And he'll definitely be one to watch out for this weekend.
Now, Pocono is usually a race that I get a lot of flack for because I call for them taking a race away, if not lowering the miles even more than what it has been. But Jason, this past race featured action. It featured wrecks. There was great racing at the end of the race. What Pocono was this?
I have no idea, but I really wish this was a Pocono. I saw that in June, but a 13 car wreck, that is not Pocono style. That's definitely a Talladega Daytona style. So definitely lots of different type of racing we saw last weekend.
Now, we started off with the great news for Dale Earnhardt Jr., which is the 3rd victory of the year. Now we have some bad news for Dale Earnhardt Jr., that being the National Guard is going to leave after this year, leaving a very big hole in their sponsorship front.
Yeah, it's definitely tough to lose a sponsor, but he's Dale Earnhardt Jr. He's going to find someone, even though it probably costs a lot, like the National Guard was, around $32 million.
Now, what's crazy about that stat is I'm assuming that might take into account for all the different vendors they have or the different displays that they bring to the racetracks, that $32 million price tag, but come on, that's not even a full year of sponsorship. I want to say it was like 25 races, give or take.
Yeah, it's definitely really, really expensive, and despite the price tag, I bet there will be a sponsor willing to pick him up and sponsor him because he's the most popular driver we have.
If not, Rick Hendrick will probably put his HendrickCars.com or some affiliation on there, because kind of like what we saw with Carl Edwards, you don't necessarily want to go out and get a sponsor for the sake of getting a sponsor on the car. You want to go out and get someone who's going to willingly pay the going price for it.
In other news, we have Nelson Piquet Jr. returning to NASCAR competition. He'll be making a Sprint Cup Series debut in the number 77 Ford. He's been doing Global Rallycross so far this season. He's actually leading the points, and he's doing really well there. But he is really one of the best on road courses, so he'll definitely be one to watch for on Sunday.
It'll be interesting. I'm still not sure what to make up of this 77 bunch, the Randy Humphrey Motorsports. They kind of shut down. They went on hiatus for about a month and a half here as a part of a restructuring, and they vow to come out and run competitively. Beginning of the year, when they were making the races, they were just parking, so I think they will give Piquet the ability to go out there and run from here on out. I don't know how much they're going to do or how competitive they're going to be in this day and age.
What they were really lacking in the beginning of the season is making races. They had a tough time doing that with Dave Blaney, but their best hope is that only 43 cars show up like we have this weekend at Watkins Glen, and that will be their best shot at getting in the race and maybe doing something.
Some early news, a lot of rumblings that Ryan Blaney will take over the number 21 Wood Brothers car. They're going to supposedly announce it next week at Michigan, but good move, bad move, kind of moving away from Roush Fenway?
That's the best move for the 21 car can make with a Ford driver, because he is definitely the most promising Ford driver out there right now. So I'm saying good move, and I bet he'll do pretty well next season.
I unfortunately just looked over and noticed that Brian Vickers and Clint Boyer, pictures of them, are staring directly at us while we do this Fan3Cast, so obviously no pressure to make sure that we pump out our best one yet. Now, the power rankings. Jason, mine flip-flopped a little bit. Again, wearing out with, I'm going statistically speaking, so there's not a lot of movement because these guys seem to kind of earn about the same points, or however I calculated each week. So I have Jeff Gordon leading the way, followed by Brad Keselowski and Kevin Harvick. Gordon obviously leading the points. You can hardly argue that. Keselowski, you know, he had a little bit of a struggle at Pocono, but he's showing that he's in definitely championship form. And Kevin Harvick, broken record. I'm going to say he's fast everywhere he goes. He just needs a finish.
I'm leading off with Dale Earnhardt Jr. He's been impressive. He's been really consistent, and I just don't, at this point, I don't see anybody really challenging him with consistency. And I'll put Jeff Gordon second, definitely another consistent driver. He's been on fire the last month. And Joey Logano third. He was running well at Pocono. He's been consistent, and he just, I think he's always there and always around, and he'll be looking for another win sometime soon.
Now, we're on to this weekend. It's my most favorite weekend of the year, not only because I'm at the racetrack, but I'm going to say it, I'm in love with Watkins Glen International. I've been coming here since 1992, and I just think is the perfect fit of road course and super speedway all into one, believe it or not, with the winding turns, with their winding fast turns. And we're here, Jason. We're enjoying the sights and sounds, and it's only Friday morning.
Yeah, we can smell the race fuel and tires already, and it's just one practice session in, and there'll definitely be a lot to look forward to. The road course definitely throws a wild card into the race to the chase, and you'll see guys like Marcos Ambrose and Tony Stewart really getting their best shot at a victory before the chase so they can get into the chase. And there'll be two guys we'll definitely have to watch for, because this is probably one of their last opportunities to secure the win and get into the chase.
Now, I was hard-pressed to try to think of any other drivers that might have this as an opportunity to get that last win, to get into the chase. The other name that came to mind that I just kind of thought of was Martin Truex Jr. He did win at Sonoma a year ago, so he has that ability to win on a road course, but I'm not sure where Furniture Row is at this juncture if they're going to compete for a win at this road course.
Yeah, he'll be one to watch for a little, but I just don't see if he can get it done. Maybe next season when he's a little more competitive, he might have a better chance.
Now, the last couple of years, Watkins Glen has provided us with some great races. First that comes to mind is the battle between Brad Keselowski and Marcos Ambrose 2 years ago. Last year it was a dogfight with Kyle Busch coming out on top. So much so that you weren't even sure what you were going to do, because you had the opportunity to go to Victory Lane last year.
Yeah, it was very nerve-wracking. I was sitting in I couldn't really focus on the race. I'm nervous about what Kyle was doing, if I could get to the Victory Lane. And I took a chance on the last few restarts, and he held Keselowski off, which I thought was really impressive, because Keselowski was not having that great of a season, and he definitely wanted to win probably. So that was definitely nerve-wracking, and both those guys I think will be another guys to watch for this weekend, because they have done so well here in the past.
So, Jason, you've kind of alluded to it, our picks to win. There's a lot of good names out there. We already mentioned Marcos Ambrose, which, fun fact, I've already put it on Twitter. It's in my race preview, but I'm going to throw it out here now. He drives the number 9 car. This is for anyone who's into numbers. He drives the number 9 car. His average start is 9th place. Mid-race, his average positioning is 9.11, and his average finish at this track is 9.23. That's kind of crazy, all the 9s lining up. Does that line up to be a victory or another 9th place run for Ambrose?
I think he'll be competitive and up there. I'm just not too sure he'll get it done, but I'm going with Mr. Kyle Busch for the victory. He's just been so good here lately. I think it's hard to not put him as a contender, and I just think he's been hungry as of late. He hasn't won since March, and he'll be hungry after finishing really poorly at Pocono. So he's my pick and expect him to do really well.
Prior to that, he had, 3 in a row second place finishes?
I think it was something like that.
Prior to Pocono. Well, I'm going to go kind of left field with this one. He is our points leader, Jeff Gordon. But if you were to look at his road racing resume, you would say, wow, 9 wins. He's got to be one of the best out there. But if you look specifically at Watkins Glen, he hasn't done much of anything since his win in 2001. So that's 13 years since he's visited Victory Lane here. So he's going to make his 22nd start, which is going to tie him for the all-time lead at Watkins Glen. He has 4 wins, but an average finish of 15.81. I'm looking past that. I'm going with what he's been doing on the track now, which has been competing week in, week out. And I think this is a really good resurgence for him in a place where he can pull off a victory.
Yeah, it'll definitely be fun to watch for because we have so many guys that could get the job done on Sunday, and we're going to enjoy being at the track all weekend long because there's definitely going to be a ton of great action.
And you know what the greatest part about this weekend? Beyond the racing, beyond being here, you know what that is, Jason?
I may know, but I'm not too sure.
It is a near 0% chance of rain this year for the first time in
forever. That'll be great because rain definitely always plays a role in this race, and I'll be glad to just see it. Sunny skies and for it to be a great competitive race on Sunday and Saturday.
It's like 8 o'clock in the morning and it's already turning out to be a beautiful day here Friday at Watkins Glen International.
Thanks for listening to the Fan3Cast. For more NASCAR coverage, check out startandparkblog.com and turn4racingnews.com. Follow along on Twitter at Fan3Cast, at startandparkblog, and at NASCAR Jason.